Hey everyone, can you hear me fine? Okay, let's start some screen sculpting. I'm gonna try to do some Cyborg Mantis, Cyborg with Mantis blades, which is heavily influenced from the Cyberpunk series. Hey! So yeah, let's get started. So I'm starting from a body. Where is the cursor? Camera view. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna start with the face. Just have a basic like shape of the face, and then I'm gonna make the simple like position of the model, and then go through the design from there. I'm gonna try to like do the design as much as possible in the T-pose, and then I'm gonna like try to pose and do some cloth as well. So this is gonna, I think, take a couple of like streams, like I think 5 or 6 streams to actually get the model done. And I'll be doing another model in the Japanese streams. I think I'm planning to make some like mech character. What do you call those, mech hybrid? There's a Japanese word for it, but I'm not really sure about the English word. It's more like a Megami device kind of like stuff. Hey. Or something like more Infinite Stratus kind of stuff. So my plan is that for the Japanese one, and for the English stream I'm making the Mantis blade, heavily influenced by Cyberpunk. I've been enjoying Cyberpunk for a while and having fun playing the game. The world building is really nice. So. Okay, so the neck part. I'm always like wondering, would I need to like split the head from on the neck or on the root of the neck. So usually I just end up with the neck with the body. Like the torso is connected to the body, but not really connected to the neck, because that's more easier for me to like control the size of the head individually. If I decided that the scale is not really right, or I need to do some tweaking as well. But it depends on your workflow and what you want to achieve. Oh, I just realized that this is my first stream of the year, so Happy New Year's to everyone, and like hope you enjoy this year, I guess. Let's hope it's a better year than last year. Like last year was not really good. Like it flew past really quickly, but I didn't really get the satisfaction of like having a year, to be honest. Like, I don't know about you guys, but it wasn't a good year for me. But yeah, let's hope it's a better year this year. Oh, by the way, during the weekend, during the vacations, I've been like sculpting a lot of like sculpts. Like, I think I did like total of like 100 hours of sculpting during the vacations. So you can see my like sculpts in the ZBrush Central if you want. Let me send you a link. Gallery. This one. Have you tried using 3D mouse yet since ZBrush added support? Yeah, I've been doing the tests. Like initially I was the first one to test the 3D mouse. So yeah. It's really comfortable. It's really like, if you get the hang of it, like the 3D mouse itself needs a couple of like getting used to, but after you get the hang of it, like it's really quick. But like for me, like I'm really used to like moving the model the old way, the traditional way. So it's just a preference for me. I don't know what's shaking. Like it's making it sound for some reason. I'm gonna make the basic shape of the character first. So, for example, it's just a normal like characters. Just checking the body balance and the actual like shapes. But for a while, it wouldn't look like a cyborg for a while, but it will in a short while, I guess. Merge down, and Boolean. Dynamesh, I guess. And then adding some back face masking. Oh, during the holidays, like I saw a couple of like YouTube videos talking about VTubers, and I was kind of surprised about like the Western audience getting like interested in VTubers. Like I know a company from Japan is like doing now the English segment of their like VTuber streams, so that was kind of like interesting. But now it's like it's a big scene, I guess, in the US side. Like if I go to like YouTube's like AniTube categories, like they all talk about like VTubers now. It feels really weird. I'm sure there's a couple of people asking like, what the heck is VTubers? Like VTuber is technically a virtual YouTuber. Like you have a virtual like avatar of your representation of yourself, and then like you don't really show your physical body when you're like streaming or like talking. So it's not like personality, like you hide your personality behind the avatar, but like that makes it a bit more interesting than the average like normal kind of like YouTuber personalities. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions related to ZBrush, ZBrushCore, or Japan, or like just like a casual talk, like just hit me up. Can I make a sculpture based on someone else's illustration and sell that to the company? No, like I think it's better to have permission first. Like it's the general rule of like making a model from a concept. So if you make a model based on someone else's work, like you should get permission from that original author, and then if you don't get permission, then like respect the artist. Like you can't make it. Like yeah, it's the same thing. Like you need to get the permission. Like if it's like contacting the like company, it's a different kind of like subject, but yeah. Hey. How to make a shoe sole? Like there's a couple of like tutorials covering that topic, I guess. But you just mask and then make it. Shoe sole ZBrush. Yeah, you have like ZBrush tutorials if you look up the internet. Depends on how you want to approach it. If you have what kind of like rubber shape you have, then you can make a alpha out from that, and then like making a base model from that. So this is really hard poly, like I want to reduce it. Even if you use it as one of many references, if it's not the main reference, like if you're not, like for example, I'm making a Cyborg character, but I'm using a couple of references to like direct myself to what kind of like Cyborg I want. If that's the case, and if it's not really looking like the particular illustration or particular picture you have, then it's fine, I guess. But like if it's really like, if your main references are like specifically identical, then it's better to ask permission. I'd ask myself, like, if I get pissed off, if I see someone else making artwork but you don't really get credit for it, then like that's kind of like the how to evaluate the situation, I guess. Where can I download brushes for ZBrush? Like, depends. Like, a couple of people upload it on ZBrush Central, a couple of people upload it on ArtStation. You can get it from, what was it? Gumroad as well. So there's a couple of ways to get it. It depends on what specific brush you want. So for example, if you're looking for Sakaki's brushes, he has a dedicated Gumroad page for that. So you go to Gumroad page and then buy it, I guess. He does make the brush free, but like you can pay a tip for it. Or you can go to his blog to get the older version of the brushes as well. So it really depends on what brush you're looking for, and if it's a paid brush, you can't really get that elsewhere. So if you go to like ArtStation's marketplace, you see a lot of like custom brushes sold there. And if you go to like Texture 3D, I think it was texture.com, you can like look for a specific brush, like Imm Brushes, for example. Can you draw only with your mouse? No, you can, but like I'd recommend like using a pen tablet, because like pen pressure would be really important for like strokes, and using a mouse will like really like ruin your fingers. Like it's really hard to like click, 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 and then move around. So I'd recommend using a pen tablet. It's like drawing with your mouse. Technically you can do it, but it's not really comfortable. And it really depends on how good your mouse manipulation is. So you can, but nah. Can you mention a way to make fish scales textures? I think there's a video for that as well. There's several ways to do it. Like, for example, you have a fish scale alpha, and then you can make that using that as well. So if you go to this thread, where's the chat? Marcus is talking about the Lightbox section. You'll see a noise 56. So if you go to alpha, no, noise, then alpha 56. No, noise is 56. So if you click on this, like for example, if you go to like something like a sphere, and then change it to Polymesh 3D, go to surface, noise, and then like for example, if you click on the noise 56, you have this. So if you edit this, remove the colors, so you remove the base colors, and then if you want the strength to be a bit more smaller, subtle, then you do this, and then you get a basic like kind of like shape for the scales. But if you have stretching, because this is like projecting it from the front, so what you do is like first of all turn off the noise, go down to the lowest subdivision, and then apply UV masters, and then you have this morphed UV. And then if you go to surface, noise, and then edit, apply to the UVs, and then if you have your UVs correctly, like you can have something like this. You need to adjust the UVs, like UV scenes on here, or make it on the like back of the fin, and then you can have a scaling like this. So it's pretty simple. Do you have a YouTube channel or recommended course? Well, you can check out the Pixologic page, of course. Joseph, Paul, and Solomon is doing tutorials on that page. So if you go to pixologic.com, you can see the ZBrush classrooms as well. And you can go to the YouTube channel for Pixologic, and then you can check out the beginner courses on there as well. And you can check out other like ZBrush live streamers as well. So and it depends really what you want to do. So if you're like, I really like to do more the anime style of like sculpting, but if you're like looking for a photorealistic style of like sculpting, I'm not really the person you're looking for. So if you're looking for a creature sculptor, I'm not that kind of like specialized sculptor for that needs. So it depends on what you want to do. And if it's like more like a hard surface style of an artist, then it's a different kind of like artist. Huh. Well, I did post about the ZBrush Central post I did. If you look up that ZBrush Central article, and then if you go to that video, like you can see my personal channel as well. I explain my stuff in Japanese, but if you go to ZBrush Lives and Lives past streams and look up my name, like you can find a lot of like archives of myself talking in English and then like making some anime models. Like last thing I did was the thumbnail you saw before you got into the stream. So the Santa model. So on the last stream I did, I finished this model. So you can see most of the process on that stream. Especially not different from other, like, how to make a character. So the process is the same, like, it's just like small, like, how to do it is a bit different from other like photorealistic stuff or hard surface stuff, but it's basically the same. So you can, like, if you want to know about the process, like, you can watch other people's streams to, like, learn about the workflow as well. And it's not really special for anime models. The only difference is like the how to get the anatomy correct, or like how to get the body correct, and those kind of like small details. Delete hidden, close all. I'm in B box. Oh, it's the opposite. This is huge. I need to make it a bit more smaller. Dynamesh. I don't really need Dynamesh resolution in like 124 right now, so I just need, like, I think it's 64 should be fine. Yep. Yeah, of course you can. But if you're going to sell it as a product, then it's going to be a problem. But like if you're using it for like studies, or like if you're going to make it totally a different model out of that like model, then it's fine. Like for example, if you like get a project from like Demo Soldier and then base your model off that, then it's fine. But like if you are like reselling it as an asset, like that's a problem. But yeah, you get the idea. So for example, I use Imm parts every time like I make some like ears or hands, because it's really easy to do, and it's really like shortens up the time of like actually making individual like parts every time I do it. I can make it, but it's gonna take time to like adjust it, and I just want a base that looks like a hand, right? And I get this question a lot, like why do you make the bodies every single time you do some sculpting? Like the reason for that is like I just enjoy making it from scratch, and I learn something new. If I'm working for production, I think I wouldn't do that, but like I'm I'm just like demonstrating you, or like I'm like casually sculpting how you can do this, and then like that's the reason why I do it from scratch. I get this question often when I do some practice, and like when I start from a base body, I usually get a question like, where do you get that base body? Like, isn't that cheating? Like, no, it's not. And the answer is like, usually I just use my old sculpt as a base for when that's happening, but like usually I start from scratch. Yeah, it's fun. Like, yeah, it's just fun to sculpt. Like, it's like learning new anatomy. Like, if you learn a new anatomy part, and then if you want to implement it, then you need to do it from scratch. Like, that's the way you improve it. But you don't need to do it every single time. Like, if you don't really have the time to do it, then don't do it. Yeah, I really get the question of like, where do I download your models? I want to print it for a 3D print of mine, and then like, I usually go to deep, like depressed pose, and then like say, you can't really do that. Like, I don't really want to share my 3D data to the public because it usually doesn't end up well. Like, for example, I know a couple of artists who got their data sent to a Chinese company and then got made to a resin kit, for example, and like they were upset about it. So no, I don't want that. I like your work a lot. What do you think about softwares like Make Human or some plugins for creating base meshes? No, go. I don't have any problem. Like, go ahead. Like, isn't that like asking, like, what do you think about Imm Brushes? Isn't it cheating? Like, my answer would be, why? It's not. Is it like, if it's for a competition and then the competition's like target is to like rate your like sculpting skills, then yeah. But like, if it's for creating artwork, and then if that Imm brush itself is not the main part of that artwork, then I don't think it's a problem. It's the same thing for like Make Humans or like base mesh creation stuff. Like, if it's not the main thing, and if you're gonna change it heavily, then it's not that important, I guess, right? It's like playing a game, and if you make the game character from the game creation and then you call it yourself, like I built a character specifically for like representing myself, then that's fine, right? But like, for example, if I play Cyberpunk and then if I like fine tune my like character and like make it what I like, and then if the person next to me says, hey, that you didn't make it from scratch, like, like I'll be like, what? But yeah, like I've customized heavily, right? That's not a problem. But usually, like, if you start a model Like, for example, if I download someone else's model and then make another model out of it, then depends on what kind of like stuff you're making, but usually I wouldn't do that. Like for example, this is really common in MMDs, but like if you have Miku dance models and then load that model, and then if you tweak it, then I don't think that's the good way to do it, because like you are like painting over a picture other people painted. Like, if you understand it from that analogy, like if you bring a picture and then like paint it over it, and then if you call it your own, it's like that's not the right way to do it, right? But like I'm kind of like curious why that's kind of like accepted in the 3D community. But yeah, it depends. Like, my opinion would be not to do that. Like, it's just my opinion. Like, I wouldn't do that if I need to do my own work. Like, I usually create it from scratch. So if it's more like generic stuff, like for example, make human is making a generic human, and then the license accepts you to like actually tweak the model and then get a model out of it, then yeah, fine. It allows you to do that. But if it's like made specifically tailored to a specific character, and then if you tweak that, and then my inner artist would not accept myself to do that. You understand what I mean? Garage kits sold at Wonder Festival usually casted or printed. Depends on the dealer. Dealer is the person who's making the model or selling it. Oh, by the way, the common misconception about the Wonder Festival's like licenses, if we do some copyrighted material, we have to get permission from the author or the company handling that copyright. So it's not really like, you can't really make a model and then sell it freely. If it belongs to a license holder, like a copyright or like some artist's work, then you need to get permission from that through Wonder Festival. So, and then it depends on like the dealer if he wants to sell it just by like 3D printing the model or casting it. It depends on the dealer who's making the model. But usually casted will be popular, because I've seen a couple of like people making the 3D model version of like a ship and then getting complaints about like, oh, it's 3D printed, it snaps easily, and those kind of stuff. Like, it happens. Yeah, but kind of reference for your own work, but yeah, create your own from scratch has that kind of sentimental feeling as well. I did get a question related to like, can I use a game model for a reference and then like making a sculpt next to it, and that kind of questions. I don't do that kind of stuff. Like, if you ask me, like, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, game models are specifically made for a game model, so if you want a cool sculpture out of it, then no. It's not worth the effort of like getting the model and then looking at it and comparing it and those kind of stuff. No. Hey. I know a couple of people will be, oh, why not? But like, it's just my opinion, right? How long do you have sculpting? Do you start with ZBrush? Yeah, I started from ZBrush and then did, I think it's like 7 or 8 years now for doing sculpting in ZBrush. So I started from 2013. I remember this vividly because the last company I worked for is a printing company, and I started working there from 2013 July. I remember this. I think I even remember the date I started, like July 8th, I guess. And then that company wasn't really a specialized, like, it's not really established 3D printing company. So they were like trying to learn new stuff, and then decided to go to the 3D printing business. And then I got hired, and then I started learning 3D. And like after I got hired, like on day 2, I found out about ZBrush, and then started, like, I just jumped on. Like I paid for the software on like day 2 of my work, and then just got a copy of ZBrush and started from there. So I first tried sculptures, and then like there wasn't a trial back then, but now we have like trial versions, and yeah, the free version as well. So it's an old story, but like yeah, my first salary was like using it for ZBrush. My second salary was using it for another 3D software. So you can imagine the amount of like income was like converted to a 3D software at that time. In sculpting collectibles, a realistic career path for a Westerner? And I don't know about Western cultures, man, but like in Japan, like working for a figurine company, if you don't speak Japanese, it's really, really hard, because like a lot of like figurine artists only talks Japanese, and then if you want to communicate with those kind of people, then you need to speak Japanese. It's really hard to get a work in Japan if you don't know the language. Like, I don't know any like companies who hires English speakers, or like only speaking English personnel. If they can have the same kind of like sculpting quality from a Japanese guy who already talks Japanese. So you're competing against those kind of like people. Like the people who already talk Japanese and then know their stuff will be the competition. But I'm not really sure about the like Europe situations for figurines. So if you're asking those kind of questions, I don't know. But if you're like looking for a global company like Bandai or like Kotobukiya, I think you can have a chance. Like you can like send a message or like send a mail to their like recruitment page, and then show your portfolios. Then you can have a chance, I guess. But it depends on the like how big the company is. Like usually Japanese companies really don't have a person who can speak English very well. So keep that in mind, I guess. Can we save as brushes setting, like sizes of brush situation, and store them as kind of startup setting? You just need to override the if you're talking about like standard brushes or like clay brushes, which is in there by default, yes. And like you need to just go ahead and direct the where the brushes are. I think it was the where was it? Like if you go to the documentation, how like, and then see where the default brushes for ZBrush are, and then you just need to override them. But the better, like I'd recommend not tweaking the default and then saving it as your original brush, and then it will store the size and the intensity and the focal shift and those kind of values as well. Like I really don't recommend like tweaking the defaults, because it's gonna be like for example, standard brush, sometimes you just want the default values for testing purposes, and I don't want to change them. But it depends, like if you don't have that kind of use, then like it's fine, like fine to tweak them. $5K. The hardest part of making a figurine or an anime style figurine to look like an anime style figurine is the face. And like body, like it's really simple. Like you just like you gotta like tweak the anatomy a bit and then it's done. But like if you want the face to look like an anime figurine, which was done by more like a Japanese guy, then you need to like think about the depth of the eyes and stuff like those. Like for example, the current situation of the eyes, like if you look at it from the side, it's like pretty deep, right? But what you want to do is you want to make this part flat, like flat as much as possible. And then you make it a bit more like a tapered shape from the bottom, like this. It's going more the diagonal position, like for example, like this, right? You want to make it like this. But if you do this angle too much, like if it's more like the 120 degree kind of like angle, it's gonna look really, really creepy. Because your eyes are looking outside, not the, like don't really have to focus on the eyes. And I usually assign a new group for this, because I have a more fine control if I do that. So for example, if I make the eye sockets flat and then group them, and then like smooth the group with like weighted smooth mode 6, and then you can have this kind of like result, right? You can find the smooth weighted smooth mode in the brush palettes, and then if you go to smooth brush modifiers, you have the weighted smooth mode, and then if you change it to 6, it's going to consider where your polygroups border are and then try to maintain it. So this is really handy for like eye sockets and getting a flat kind of like polygroup shape. And then if the eyes are a bit too close, it's gonna look weird, so you're gonna adjust this. And then if it looks fine from the flat position, you just need to adjust how it looks from the diagonal position. So for example, you got a cheek line here, but you want the cheek lines a bit more here, and then you tweak the silhouettes a bit, like you look from the side and then check the eye socket's like depth. Like for example, this is a bit more. You just need to adjust it a bit more, like this. And then if you look at from the front, then you just need to like, get the shape correct and the length of this, like what do you call those? The length between the eyes, correct? And then you look from the side, and then you need to get the this contour lines here correct. And at the beginning, it doesn't really look correct, but like you gotta like keep on tweaking until you get it. Like it usually takes me like actually like tweaking the face for like 2 or 3 hours, and then getting the correct shape in total at the end. But like when I'm making the characters, it really looks like odd. It's really not natural looking. And these kind of like small tweaks add up really quickly. So if you don't really adjust them, it's gonna look weird. But if you try to adjust them, it's gonna like eliminate those kind of like creepy parts of your model. So it takes time, but it's totally worth the tweaks. I mean, I will always use lazy mouse value in 20 and focal shift for standard brush in 15 and backface mask off. Can I save as this setting and store it like the config that we can save? Yeah, you can go ahead, like for example, if I just switch this like standard, if I go to stroke, lazy mouse, if I switch this to like 0.025, and then like lazy to like 20 as you say, and then no lazy snap, and then if you put auto masking and then backface masking and then save as, and let me save as standard test in the brush presets. If you go to ZBrush folder, and then if you go to ZBrush Z startup, you have the brush presets folder. So if you save it there and then refresh, reset all brushes, and then you will have a standard test brush. Yeah, standard test here. And then you get the like 0.25 lazy step, and then you have the 20 radius, and you have like the specific brush size I chose. But yeah, if you want like 64, you just need to like save as and then override the same folder, and then refresh it, and then you can see that you have the setting correctly. No, this is just standard brush, like standard test brush. Yeah, you have like lazy radius 20, draw size is 64. I didn't change the intensity, but the intensity will be saved, and the lazy steps will be saved as well. So yeah, you can. How much is ZBrush? I think ZBrush was like $8.95. Pixologic Daisuke. If you go to the store, like you can see that there's 2 options to buy ZBrush. You can buy it as a subscription, or you can buy it as a one-time pay. So it's $8.95, so $895. The ear doesn't look correct, so I'm gonna adjust the position of the ears a bit precisely. Okay, let's focus more on the what kind of clothes she's gonna wear, and I can focus on the body parts of the anatomy later on the after the stream, I guess. Nothing's gonna change. I just need to use some clay brushes and then standard and getting the anatomy correct and those kind of fun stuff, I guess. But let's focus on design I want to make first. So I just need some base kind of shape for the cloth. So I want some coat kind of shape, which is dangling. She's not really wearing it, but wearing it. What do you call those? Yeah, you'll see. Let me mask this portion out. No thickness, extract, accept. And then you'll need to okay, nope. Okay, it's hidden. There is one-time pay. Perpetual license is the way to go, and you can choose subscriptions if you if you're working for a studio, and then if you're if you only need 1 month or 2 months of licenses, then yeah, you can do that as well. I don't need this part. This part as well. Delete. ZBrush. Nope. Delete. And for the coats, I'm going to use the dynamics after I use the volume, collision volume, and then try to test it. And I just need to use cloth hook. I really feel the cloth hook is really handy for these kind of shapes. And then just tweaking the position of where the coat goes, and then I want the cloth to hook around the shoulders, so lightly, and then just tweaking. I think I just need to adjust the iterations a bit, 400, and then doing running a simulation, and then double checking if this looks right on the dynamics. I just need to add a bit more thickness, 0.25. And boom, like you get the general like shape of the cloth, right? And I'd like this to do a symmetry, so I just need to like mirror and weld. When do you start using subdivide in your work? After you get the basic shape. That's pretty much it. Is it in the dynamic simulation or is it what? Is it in the dynamic simulation or is it the cloth hook? Cloth hook is just a brush inside the brush palettes, and then if you use the dynamics, then if you press run simulation, it's just gonna use the run simulation. And then if you tweak the simulation iterations on the top, you can adjust how much calculation you do for each vertexes. So how much like time you simulate the actual cloth, and then you will get the results like this. And you change the dynamic subdivisions and then change the thickness, and like to actually like look at the result you're gonna get by adding thickness, but you're not really getting the thickness. Like like this is like just virtual representation of like what you are going to get when you add thickness and the subdivision values. So this is, it doesn't really add subdivisions, but you're going to get the look of how it would look when you add those kind of settings. So this is handy when you're doing like simulations or like doing demodeler stuff, and I really use this kind of like settings often. But you can't animate those cloth, right? Depends on what you define animations. You can send it, if you record, like for example, if you go to layers, and if you make a new, and then if you, for example, if you like run simulation, or like for example, if I just remove this and then if I run simulation like this, and if I make it fall to the ground, and then if I stop it, it's going to record the initial position and the actual like animation of the gravity. And then if I send this to, like for example, other softwares which handles MDD files, and then if I load that file with the same vertex information, then you can technically make the animation out from that. But I wouldn't recommend using it for animations because it's not really built for that purpose. And ZBrush is more a sculpting application more than a cloth simulation animation application, so it's not really specialized for that purpose. You can do it, like, but I don't think I would recommend it. No. I don't want this kind of like square shape on the edge, so I'm gonna adjust this. I need to apply this because why is not? I didn't need layers, but like I made the layers for the demonstration, and then it gave me a prompt of like you have layers, like you can't change the topology if you have layers. So that was giving me a warning, and I was like, why isn't it like applying dynamic subdivisions? But it had layers. That's the reason. I need to design the Mantis blades. Like, I don't know how it goes well with this kind of like coat dangling from her shoulders. But yeah, I want to make this kind of like an assassin character, a bit lazy assassin. Well, I'm just gonna make the design brief because I just want to go to another part and get the design. I'm thinking about like making a suit, like a bodysuit. I wonder how should I go about this design. Inflate. I do want the tone of the color to be like black and green kind of color, neon green. よろしくお願いします。Hey. I do have a couple of references to like do some concepts, but like I'm wondering like how should I like design this model? If it doesn't look like a cyborg, then the concept is like ruined. So. I do want to give this character a cybernetic leg, so I'm thinking about that, but like for the initial design, not yet. So I'm gonna get the body balance correct, and then get the actual like accessories or other small details right. I can even hide a part of the model and then like build some like test model or test cases and then attach those as well. I think I could make this more loose, like this. How user-friendly is ZBrush? Depends on the user itself, right? Like, I really like ZBrush. Like, for example, I sculpt. I can even finish my sculpt like for like just doing sculpt for like 12 hours, and then I can finish my like entire sculpt by that time. Or even I finish a couple of models like in 8 hours. So it depends on like how you determine user-friendly. Like if you want to go into like high detail and then sculpt more stuff, and like it handles really nicely the amount of like poly counts you can get out of ZBrush is like amazing, right? But if you're talking about other stuff, I'm not sure what you mean by like user-friendly. Like you can customize the UI as you want. So for example, I have a heavily customized UI, and this is because like I know what I'm doing, and then I know what kind of like menus are needed and not needed, so I can tweak as much like as I want, as much as possible. But like depends on like how you are familiar with ZBrush. I want the cloth to be a bit loose because the Mantis blades are coming out from the cloth, but if it's too tight, it's not going to be easy to maneuver, right? So, or it's going to rip through her cloth, so that's a bit concerned. Any advice for making characters like yours for 3D print? What kind of advice you want? Like, depends. Like, if you're looking for advice for experienced users, it's pretty different. It's pretty different an advice you give to experienced users or like beginner users, right? So, what kind of advice you want? I don't really have specific advice. Like, just go for it. Like, just do it. Like, try out multiple things and then like see what works and not work. And just like think about like how much detail you're cramming up into like 1mm dimensions, and would it show up well at the end will be my question, but that's more like a not an advice, it's more like just a recommendation. I'm thinking about the design and like I'm constantly going back and forth between the actual base mesh of the character. Like, Okay, let me think about the Mantis blades. Mantis blades are... I do have a good reference to Mantis blades. And I'm wondering if I should split the arm or not, but like, I think I'd go for a gauntlet type of shape. I'm just going for a rough design for now, like getting the general shape and then tweaking it. I've been watching people make figurine joints for the Sculpting ZBrush. Yeah, like there's a lot of tutorials for it. Like there was even a ZBrush tip segment for making how to make figurine joints or like 3D printable joints, articulations and stuff. Let me test a way to actually I use array mesh sometimes for these like mirror functions. So I just need to repeat mirror X, and then no, I just need to lock position and then mirror X. Lock position, date, home position, and mirror, I guess. No. Let me figure out this. I forgot how to do this. ZBrush notes. Okay, so one lock position, reset, and then okay, I just forgot the reset part. Array mesh, lock position, reset, mirror. Hey. Okay. So this what this does is that like when I even turn off the symmetry, if I change this model. For example, if I make it a spike or make a tweak, it's going to automatically adjust this, like the left-hand side as well. No, the right-hand side as well. So this is handy for like making rough designs. So for example, this would happen even if I do Dynamesh, and then if I tweak, it's going to work fine. So this is the benefit of like using array meshes for getting the rough shapes correct. And if I just like tweak this, turn it around, it's gonna just like you just need to think about the left side to actually tweak the right side as well. But you need to confirm it after, like you have to pose, and then if you want the pose to do a different kind of like asymmetrical pose, then you need to like confirm the array. But this is really handy. Like I use it often, but I forget how to like apply the settings in the first place. Like I usually use a macro, so that's the reason why. I don't want a shape like a scythe, but like, it's hard. Like, it's called Mantis blade for a reason, because Mantis has a scythe kind of like shape. So, Mantis. I like how Mantis like pose the like scythes like this, like a boxing pose, I guess. But if you do it on a character, like it looks, it doesn't look like it doesn't look cute, right? I'm not going for a like cute kind of like moe cyborg sized character, so I was thinking about it, but like not for this one. So I need to think about the designs, like. I'm designing as I go, so I do have a basic like design in my head, but not really a dedicated design. So I have the flexibility to like change or like tweak on the stream. Like that's the reason why I don't really do what do you call those pre-design design on the stream as much. Because you don't really have the flexibility, like if the viewer wants some specific like tutorial related to like something, and then if I can't do that, like it's a lost opportunity, right? But if I don't really have a preset design, like I can do it on the fly or like from a feeling, right? So I think I can do a double way design as well. Like for example, if I move this, like rotate this 100 degrees. This kind of like shape, or like 3 size. But it will be a question of like, where is she stocking all these kind of like assassin weapons in her arms? I need to think about that too. Like, are you going to 3D print this? I don't think so. No, I'm just like casually sculpting. So I might if I like the design. And if I want to like get some like model from this, but I should split this model, I guess. No, not yet. Well, like I'm like recently finding out like I'm not really bold enough to like design some like wacky stuff, so I need to push myself to like go ahead and like try out a couple of sculpts and then like get lucky or like get a like unexpected design out of it. I need to polish this design afterwards, but like, just going ham with the designs. Like, I need to try a couple things and then like see if I like it. If I'm not, then I just need to like scrap it and then start again. So just doing that. Yeah, four-dimensional like folding, right? New technology. So I'm gonna split this part so it kind of fits, like, right? And then I'm gonna make this blade part a different material, and thinking about how to fold this part. There should be some lock mechanism for like locking these kind of stuff, so I need to think about that as well. It's fun to design this kind of like wacky stuff. Like, it's no way gonna fit the character, but like it's fun. Like, it's cool. Hey. Welcome, welcome. This part doesn't make it look sharp, so I just need to tweak this part. It looks like a Gundam's antenna, like where you have a bit of a twig at the end, like for safety reasons, so it doesn't like poke your skin too much or something like that. You can remove it afterwards, but yeah. Make glove for weapon. I'm thinking about like making a this kind of like glove shaped stuff like this, but I don't know. Attach weapon to glove. Glove weapon. I don't really get what you mean. Lazy. I've always thought of Mantis blades as stealthy weapons you can hide, but are very dangerous. Yeah, like it's more like Assassin's Blade, but more sci-fi. Like before Mantis blades, I didn't know there was a word for it. Like I knew there was a couple of designs like this, but like Cyberpunk. The game Cyberpunk 2077 just made me realize that there was a name for it. Like it's really like surprising. And after the Cyberpunk released, if you search the term Cyberpunk, it's really mostly the like images for the Google image search is like mostly like 100%. Cyberpunk related, the game related, not the actual like SF or sci-fi kind of like cyberpunk. I just noticed that when I was like researching designs and stuff, and like when I was like searching for sci-fi, sci-fi stuff was like really getting a lot of like hits from Cyberpunk. Yeah, I'm thinking about like hollowing a part of the arms so it doesn't really look huge. No, it doesn't really look really just a like normal average like human skin. So I was thinking about making some like adjustments to the arms. But yeah, I'm currently going through the designs and like thinking about what kind of like shapes are really necessary and like would look cool. There should be a lock mechanism for like locking the blades in position. So for example, if you have a knife, it's gonna have a bump at the edge of the knife, so it doesn't like rotate, or like so if you have a pressure on this point, like it's gonna like fling off the arms. So you need to have a lock to actually prevent those kind of situations. And this could be a bit more bigger. I just thought of something. Metal detectors wouldn't be a thing in the future because everyone yeah, that makes sense. But like scanners, I think they have to improve on the scanning game. I don't know what kind of design would fit this kind of stuff. On the next stream, like I need to think about what kind of design I should add to this mix. Like for example, I'm thinking about like adding some tribal tattoo designs, like inspired kind of shapes, because that looks really scythe looking shapes. So that kind of like flow would match this kind of like design. And I want to put some like cables on this one as well. I don't know how much I should put cables, but let me try. Like let me aim in cables or tubes. Tubes is fine. Like adding cables like this. Yeah, important part of like making designs with ZBrush is that like you don't like I tend to like be safe about the designs, but like you need to push yourself to go like more crazy and ham with the designs. Like I really need to get used to that. Like try more stuff and then like see the results from the outcome. I'm in model kits. Let me see. Nope. Well, maybe this one. Yeah, exactly. Like you can go ham and then like delete the data, delete the stuff you don't really need, or like if you don't like the designs, you can smooth it as well. So. I think I need to add primitives. Primitives. And it's better to like tweak the silhouettes more than the actual like adding some rivets and stuff at this point. Like. I think I should put the heavy parts on the outer side and not the inside because it's gonna fold. No, I don't need this part for 2 times. This should be fine. Yep. I think Imm Spaceships has a lot of like stuff that you can add to the mix as well. This changes a lot of like silhouettes. Yep. What should I add? I want to keep this kind of like S kind of shape. Yeah, like I'm really like concept artists like push their designs really hard, and like they even push this themselves really hard. Like I want to keep this kind of like shape, so this like S shape is in position, and you have a delayed S shape here. So that's what I'm looking for. Delayed S shape and then another S shape, I guess, underneath. And then maybe having a cable, another cable like Imm tubes. Maybe having a shape like this, and then moving it around. Maybe having 3 cables. 3 cables is better than 1, right? Like duplicating them. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm trying. It's really hard to like push myself. Like I need to push more. Like I need to go crazy. It's not cyberpunk if it's not like pushing the limits. I think I can remove a portion of the mesh. Need to slide it a bit more, yeah. Yeah, something like this. A knife kind of shape. And then I may need to do it a bit more high definition. I'm gonna retopologize it and like do some cleanup anyways, but yeah. Split masked. Yep. Yeah, if I go too much ham, then like somebody's gonna stop me, or like somebody's gonna pull the cable off the stream, and then like, oh, you went too much. But yeah, no, I'm joking. But like, yeah, like if I do it too much, then I can just like revert the quick save and stuff like that to go back and forth. If I'm really scared about like going too much, then it's fine. But like I'm like really saving myself, like pushing, like I'm going down the hill, but like I'm like pushing the brakes too much, and then like stopping me from doing the like flipping off the hill part of like, you know what I mean? Like if you go down the hill, if you don't push the brakes, you're gonna like go too fast. You're scared of it, and then like I'm like restricting myself to not go to that position. But you should, like, you should go too far. Yeah, I really need to push myself. Trim curve lasso? Trim curve lasso, yeah. Trim curve lasso. Nope, it's taking time. Should have done clip curve. Yeah, clip curve it is. Clip curve lasso. Nope. Can we do lasso? Nope. That should be fine like this. How hard is learning curve in ZBrush? What curve? Like learning the Imm curves, or like trim curve, or making the curve by like these kind of like curves, you mean? Depends on what your definition of curve. Like getting the general shape of the curve is pretty hard because you need to understand how the curve looks on the sculpting. But like just understanding the Imm curves is not that hard. How about adding some guides for the wires? Oh, learning curve. Okay. Okay, yeah, I understand. Yeah. Well, like, it's like, it's hard to say. Like, if you want to just sculpt something, you just need to learn Dynamesh and then go for it. Like, it doesn't really take time to understand Dynamesh, like, right? Like, you just need to, like, learn how to use Control-Shift-Alt and then do some brushing. That's it. And then, like, you update the Dynamesh by using this, and that's it. But if you're, like, if you want to make specific models, or like if you want to make clean topologies, then you need to learn other things, and that's the where like people get confused. Like you just need to learn the topology, and then if you know about topology, you can skip the entire like step with there, and then it's not really hard to learn stuff. What is the more difficult? The hard surface part of the model of the audio. I find hard surface modeling is the hardest part because I'm not really used to hard surface, but yeah, if you ask Paul, I think Paul will be more comfortable with hard surface than me, so he may answer organic, but I don't know, like it depends on the person you ask, but for me it's hard surface. But like there's a lot of like tools you can use for like hard surface. For example, you can use demodeler brushes to actually get some like cleaner topology, or you can use ZBrush for like really speedy, quick surface. So those kind of stuff are a tool that you can use. But for me, getting the hard surface really correctly and really sharp and like polished is the hardest part for me. Like, especially thinking about the model in hard surface terms is the hardest part. Like, I don't know how you can make a cool hard surface design really effectively. Well, I think I'm not really just used to making hard surface. I keep going back face, yeah, back face. Just want to sculpt waifus for 3D print. Then it's not really hard. Like, it just takes a month to learn about the software, and then just if you know or understand how to get the shapes correctly, then that's about it. Like, you just take a month to actually get the shape done. How detailed should the hard surface organic object detailing for the character that conforms to toon anime aesthetics? Depends, right? That's a hard question, because like if the art style is like for example, if you have Shiro Masamune's kind of like design, it's more high detailed, right? But if you have a character, for example, if you're making a character from Lakista, and then if you have a hard surface on that kind of like material, you don't really need high texture materials, right? So yeah, like it depends on what kind of like style you're looking for. If the character looks photorealistic, then you in like the texturing or the details can like match those kind of like photorealistic kind of feel. But if your character is more stylized, you don't really need to add too much stylized, and if you don't really need to add more details to the stylized characters. Like, it will look weird, right? So for example, Nintendo is adding a bit more like realistic textures to the Mario model, but it's a bit subtle, right? But if that really stands out for like each fabric, if each strand of fabric is like visible, like you don't really it breaks the like it breaks the stylized look of the model. So it depends on like how much you don't disturb the look, but it's there, right? So it's really hard. Like, yeah, I understand. Just finish model and none will notice if your hard surface is not super clean. Simple zero mesh is enough. Yeah, like for example, if it's not really noticeable, you can just like do a simple version of it. But like if it's really noticeable, if the camera is gonna go to that position, then it's better to add more detail. I think I need to like think about the cloth as well, like cloth designs. Like if I'm looking for more dangly stuff on her arms, like for example, if I put some things like this, like a tape around her wrist, and then make it dangle, it's gonna look a bit more like cool, right? No! No! I just need to make the mask stronger, and then oh, it's ignoring the collision because I didn't really set the collision. Okay, but now it's really strong, so I just need to adjust this, like recalculate this 0.1. .400 iterations, firmness 1, unbrushed, liquify. Yeah, should be fine. Yeah. Smooth thickness 0.025. Do you have Instagram or ArtStation profile? No Instagram. Like I have ArtStation, but I'm not really updating my ArtStation that frequently. So if you go to ZBrush Central, there is a forum or a forum post I do. So if you go to here, you can check out my post, and then if you go to profile, then you can check out my other post as well. Where do you texture and where do you render your models? Over ZBrush or another software? I usually just like stick to ZBrush, but like if I need to, I just go to Keyshot. Oh, by the way, I'm talking about Keyshot. Like I just bought a new GPU, like 30 what do you call those? RTX 3070, and the GPU's rendering speed is like really insane. Like, like if you go to Keyshot and then like if I used Titan X for a while, for a long time, like 5 years now, and then I switched to this, and it's just giving me a result of like rendering time 10 times fold. So if I have a 90-second rendering on Keyshot on Titan X, and now I'm having like 9 seconds on the newer graphic cards. So it's really insane. Like, it blew my mind. Like, wow. Like 10 times the speed. Like, come on. Like, you can't get that elsewhere. Like, yeah, it's the same algorithm used for Keyshot, right? So, and that like specific algorithm itself is like using a open source stuff, if I recall correctly. So. But I really like Keyshot. Like, Keyshot is really nice for like really speedy rendering now. Like, I can chuck in materials and then get the results. Like, in the past, like, I was spending like 9 minutes of like rendering time. Now it's like 10 seconds of rendering time to get the results. Like, it's crazy. Like, wow. If you save time, the best thing is that you can iterate. You can test a lot of things. That's what I like about like speedy rendering. So for example, I did some rendering for my models I did in the vacation times. So let me show you a couple of them. So my movie window is like hitting me. Well, I did this. Took about like 30 hours to make this model entirely from scratch. Pretty much good result, right? This was rendered in Keyshot with the GPUs and with noise reduction and sample rate of like, I think it was 1024 sample rate. And then I did I didn't store any other. No, this one, yeah. So this one was the one I did on ZBrush Live in Japanese, and I finished polishing or adding more like tweaks to it, and it came out like this. So I think it's really nice. This was rendered in Keyshot as well. 1024 samples with denoise, and took about like 1.5 hours to render the whole thing. So it's really quick. Like, I can just go to bed and then get the results in the morning. So I can like queue up 2 or 3 scenes and then get the results. I'm usually talking on this stream, but like if I go to my like personal streams, I don't really talk that much. and then like I can spend like I can just focus on the sculpting aspect for hours. Like I did 8 hours of streams per day on that on the vacation times. So yeah, you can imagine like how much progress I had for per day compared to like compared to me like just like doing work and then coming back from work and then sculpting afterwards. Like it's the different kind of energy you have. Like it's not the same. Like I can just sculpt and then go to bed. Like that was my vacation. I don't know about the design of the mask, to be honest. Like, I think I should split this, but let me think about this. Like, do you work with the graphic tablets with the screen? Yeah. So I don't think you can see on this camera, but like I'm using a Cintiq 24. It's really nice. Like I really like Wacom products. ZBrush is sort of designed. Yeah, it is designed around like tablet use. Like it's not really like people complain about the middle mouse, but like pen tablet doesn't have a middle mouse, right? So yeah, it's built around specific stuff and. Like for example, the Control-Shift-Alt aspect of ZBrush is like you have your right hand holding a pen, and you can have your left hand like just holding the corner of the keyboard and then doing most of the actions there. So you just need to use those 3 fingers. Hey. I'll be finishing my stream shortly, in 2 minutes. Like I did 30 minutes extra, but yeah. So I need to go back to my work and then continue on what I was doing. So I need to think about the designs. Like currently it's just a simple mask, but I need to do some splitting and designing. I'm thinking about the designs, but like it's pretty hard. Who is the artist for drawing out the schoolgirl you sculpted? Oh, the schoolgirl one is designed by Raika9. I'll send you a Twitter link. So, where's the OBS? They're here. So this is the person who designed the schoolgirl. I like his works really well. No polish, and then I think I need a bit of polish, like 2. Yeah, nice. I don't think I'd like the design. Like, I don't know. It could be this combined. I need to think about this. Yeah, it's better this way, I guess. Well, I'll hide this part then. Like, I need to think about the mask. Well, I'll end my stream here and like hope you enjoyed. I'll do some like sculpting of the body while outside of stream, but I should continue on next week from no, not next week, the next week, from the hair and thinking about the designs a bit more. And if I go too much on the too much sculpting on outside of the stream, I'll explain what I did and what I went through to actually get the designs, so you don't really get lost in the actual process of like what I did. Yep, thank you guys. Like, stay safe, and see you soon. Bye.